It all started when Gabby and I met while waiting 36 hours in line for a concert. I just so happened to be 23rd in line, and she was number 22. Yes, I remember all the details. She had a tent, I didn't. A nor'easter was about to pour down on us, and boom, two strangers became friends. Instantly, I knew our friendship was something I would cherish eternally. It was a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence that you think only happens in movies, but still secretly hope will happen to you. Now, flash forward a year, it's August, and I'm coming to stay with Gabby in San Francisco. I was only going for a week, and since I was on the West Coast for the first time in a decade, I knew I should see my uncle too. Now, this man lives in West Hollywood, so whether I was really trying to see him or the neighborhood is debatable. Just kidding. I love my uncle. Nevertheless, I decided in this 1 week I would carve out 2 days to go to Los Angeles, even though it takes 9.5 hours to complete the journey by bus. You know, I'm going into this thinking I'm used to long rides, commutes, and honestly, the ride there was a blessing. I slept seamlessly throughout the first half of the journey, and the rest I spent looking at Google Maps for places I could visit. Once I'd arrived at 8 in the morning, I was ready to go. I only had that day and the next, where in the evening I would hop back on a Greyhound to make it back for breakfast with Gabby and some tears that would come with goodbye. Now, for some reason, while I was in LA, I was filled with crying. I was floating in joy between hunts for vintage teas and riding pedal boat swans, yet something continuously triggered unstoppable tears. When it was time to go back, an Uber came to take me to the Greyhound station. This 30-minute drive defined my trip more than I had expected it to. The driver was a man named Israel who felt like a Buddha. This man spoke to me like I was his own daughter and told me about the ways in which he navigated his life. He alleviated doubts that I was feeling and introduced me to some of the most philosophical yet close to home perspectives I've ever heard. If I'm being honest with myself, I wasn't sure why I really came to LA. But sitting in the back of Israel's car and hearing him say, life is filled with romance and beauty that we all seek out. However, the reason these things are beautiful is that they will never be attainable. Whether this was cynical or realistic doesn't matter. That moment made me realize I was exactly where I was supposed to be. At the end of the car ride, he gave me his phone number and he said I could reach out whenever. And let's just say it's a good thing I got that cathartic conversation before I reached the Greyhound station. The rest of the night could only be described as 2 words: sweaty stress. But that's a story for another time.